Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Aaron Bird, where he tells us why business school doesn't prepare you for being an entrepreneur, in addition to asks, are you solving the right problem? Keep it right here. Part 2 is up next.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Now, I know your product, and I want to dive into this a little bit, is, and one of the things I was really impressed about, I looked on your website because I was doing my due diligence, and I love the fact that you have one of your freebies, one of your free downloads, is an ROI analysis of your company. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. You don't own the company that did the analysis, do you?
This is the Forrester report?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so no, we don't.
All right,
so
I was just
Forrester
giving you shit about that.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't the case.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
It's like, hey, we were rated number 1 by, Bizible.net.
Yeah, no, not that.
Yeah, brilliant, because really at the end of the day, what your company is doing is giving optics about where they're spending money and where they're getting returns. And I think so often companies don't have a clue in this area.
Yeah, definitely. ROI is kind of at the core of our culture, our product, what we enable, and a lot of marketing teams out there, have a really hard time understanding what the ROI is and where they should spend their next dollar. And so not only do we help our customers measure ROI, but as you said that, we hired Forrester to do a study on, well, what's the ROI of Bizible, right? When you buy Bizible as a customer, what is the ROI you get out of that because your marketing's more effective?
Great. That's a great freebie. Forget the ebook. Forget about the newsletter. Hey, this is what we're going to do for you, and this is what an independent firm tells us that return's going to be for you. Now, externally, what you're doing for your customers is helping them with their ROI. You're helping them give them optics. How do you employ this internally with your own team and what you guys do?
Yeah, we definitely use our product every day here at Bizible, and we use it to measure our marketing and demand gen efforts, and it's great. I can't, this is the only time I've run a company, and I was able to use Bizible the whole time, and so I can't imagine running a company or being a marketing leader and not being able to just make cut and dry decisions about what's working and what's not. And so I think in some ways I'm a little bit spoiled as well as biased, but we use it a lot internally, and it's led us to a lot of interesting stuff. I think there's two things too. There's us using our product, and we work with hundreds of customers using our product, and some of the best B2B marketers out there are Bizible customers. And so not only do we get to use our product internally to understand what's working and make better investments, but we also get to talk to, and learn from some of the greatest marketing minds because they're our customers. And so I think that we also feed off that, and so we get to kind of understand early what's working, what are the trends in B2B that are effective for demand gen and generating revenue, and when things work with our customers, they share that with us. And so I think on both, in two ways, we're very fortunate to be able to kind of make sure that our investments are working and that we're on the cutting edge.
Now I'm going to help you with your next viral video. All right. And I don't want anything from it, just maybe like a thank you at the end. Years ago, there was a company out there called Hair Club of America. And have you ever seen this commercial?
Yep.
When a guy gets up there and he goes, "Hi, my name's Jack Jones, and not only am I the president, but I'm also a client." You should get out there and do the same thing with your product. Hi, I'm Aaron Bird.
There you go.
not only am I the president of Bizible, but I use the product.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe just steal that line straight from Hair Club for Men.
Exactly. I like it. You can put it out. I'm telling you, I love the idea. Now, I come up with some horrible ideas sometimes, but this one I'm going to stick with at least for the next 30 minutes that it's a good idea. Bring it to the marketing department, see what they say.
I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's talk a little bit about B School, because I have a lot of clients that have been through B schools, been to some of the best B schools in the world. They teach you a lot of great things, and some of the things they don't end up teaching you. So, and you talked about, starting a company. What are some of the lessons that it did not prepare you for?
I think business school teaches you how to analyze companies and to some degree how to run them and operationalize them. I think that there's a lot of the analysis piece that is really meant for companies that are operating at scale, and you can, through analysis of their financials and other things like that, you can gain insights about what's working with the business and what's effective. The startups are the exact opposite. I have a saying I like to say is that the companies aren't created in Excel, and in business school you spend a lot of time in Excel analyzing companies, and you can't. For the startup, you look at their historical financials, and that is not going to determine future results at all. Now, a large scale publicly traded operating company that isn't going through some big disruption or making a huge change, you can look at historical results and determine future results from them. But in a startup, you can't at all. So I think a lot of business school graduates like to jump to spreadsheets because that's where they're comfortable, and that's not where things are created at all. So I think that's one. Just the entrepreneurial process of finding product market fit is just not something that you see a lot in business school, and even entrepreneur classes. At least I haven't seen any that do a really good job preparing people for what it's like to really find that underlying need, not that symptom, to use your words.
Yeah. There are very few CEOs, founders that can take the company from inception and then continue to run it into a multi-billion-dollar company. You've got the Jobs, you've got the
Bezos.
Thank you. Why
yeah.
I went blank with all that? Fill in the blanks. Thank you very much. Do you have the ability to turn this into $100 million revenue-generating company? Do you have the skill sets currently to do that? Do you feel like you do?
I think that I would say no, but I would also rephrase it and say, will I have it by the time we get there? And that I think I will.
Yeah.
I think that I haven't done it before, obviously. So we're doing about 8 million a year right now. So and we think about everything in terms of 10x, right? So every time we talk about what the plan to get to the next phase is always 10x. And so that is the kind of next phase for us, is how do we get to that 100 million run rate? And that's kind of where companies our size have the capability to IPO and things like that too. So but I haven't done that before, and just like I hadn't never taken a company from 1 million to 8 million either. So
right.
I think the key is learning along the way and being smart about getting good people around you, and knowing that you don't have all the right answers, but you are gonna get them just in time. So and I think that you mentioned that it is rare that founders can take it all the way, but it's also just rare that companies go that far too. I think the one unique thing that founders have is that the amount that they care is amazing. And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs in Seattle and do some advising and have a good peer group and stuff. And I think when you look at CEOs that are quote unquote hired guns or come in to run a company, they have, I don't know, an order of magnitude less passion about what they're actually doing than the person that created it. So, and I think that's the forcing function that allows people to grow as companies grow. I mean, not everyone can do it, obviously, but I think that a lot more can than you would think. I think if you put me in charge of another company our size that I didn't create, my odds of success would be much, much lower than my odds of success in my current role.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but I agree with you. I think there is something different about the person that created it and what he or she is willing to put into it in order to make it great. Along the way, there are people that helped you get from 1 million, from 0 to 1 million, then 1 million to 4 or 5 million, now up to 8. Were there some people that you need to let go, or some additional people that you need to hire into roles that the people that were there weren't able to get you to that next level?
Yeah, definitely on both sides. We wouldn't be where we are today without great hires and a great team, obviously. And I think I haven't made perfect hires along the way either. So I think both of those things are true. And maybe it's not whether or not someone could scale but was it really a good fit? I mean, I hired executives that in their former role were really good, but for one reason or another, this just wasn't a good fit for them, right? And it's not that they're not going to be successful in the next thing they go do, and could even run teams and businesses bigger than ours. So I think there's lots of different reasons why people don't work out or they're not a good fit. Being able to scale is one of them, but also just the skill set matching the market you're in. And I think one thing that a lot of people underestimate when they go out to hire executives is again kind of that building it versus running it perspective. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs think like, oh, I need to hire a VP of sales, so I want to go hire a VP that's at Salesforce, right? A VP of sales at Salesforce, like they know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing at Salesforce, no doubt, but they know how to run a large sales organization. Have they ever built one from scratch in a market that was uncertain, selling a product that nobody had ever bought before? Like that's very different, And so the thinking about the profile of the right person and what stage you're at and what you really need, and not just optimizing for like the perfect resume, if you will, because I think those are other ways that, at least in my own experience, where people didn't work out, where I hired just really the wrong profile because I wasn't exactly sure what I needed.
Aaron, what about culture and those individuals that really can do the job? Their resume is great, they can do the job, but they just don't fit into your culture, because I'm getting the sense that you have a very strong culture.
Yeah, definitely. I think the culture is critical. My perspective on that is you'll be able to hit this quarter's numbers, next quarter's numbers, maybe even this year's numbers if you don't focus on culture. But long term, you won't build a big company unless you prioritize it. And so I think you need to hire for skills, you need to hire for experience, but you also have to hire for culture. And I think it's super important to build something lasting, because I think people come to work and to really, I really believe in hiring people that are passionate about what you're doing and believe in more than just a 9 to 5, or I'm here and I write code or I sell things or whatever, and so there has to be something they believe in, there has to be something they identify with, and that's gonna push everyone to the next level, and also that will then obviously get peers pushing each other as well. So culture is critical. People have to feel like this is something that they're really excited about and something they really identify with, and we spend a lot of time thinking about culture, both in hiring and firing, and I think I've passed on executives that had the perfect skills, the perfect experience, but weren't going to be a good culture fit, and those are hard decisions to make when you're trying to hit this quarter's number and maybe you're behind, and not hiring that role right now is only going to make it harder. But 2 years from now, if you don't optimize for culture, then you're going to fail.
Everybody's interested in success. However, only a few are really committed to it. What's the difference? Those that are committed are willing to do whatever it takes in order to get their outcome, in order to get their goals. If you're not getting the results you need and want, chances are it's accountability. Who's holding you accountable? I've got a challenge for you. For 1 month, 30 days, and $95, our team will hold you accountable for what you said you were going to get done in that month to get your goals, get your outcomes done. If, at the end of 30 days, you don't like the results or you just didn't like the system, we'll give you your money back. The question is, are you interested or are you committed?
Keep an eye out for part 3 of our interview with Aaron, where he gives college grads 5 tips on being an entrepreneur, in addition to his take on how to change your company's culture. See you next time on Peak Performers Podcast.